Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to talk about one of the most maddening parts of looking for a job today, how to actually get your resume seen by a real human being. We're going to break down the exact strategy you need to get past those digital gatekeepers and land your resume right on a recruiter's desk.
You know the drill, right? You've spent hours, maybe even days, making your resume absolutely perfect. You hit that submit button, and then crickets. Nothing. It feels like your application just vanished into a black hole. But here's the thing. It didn't disappear. It just hit a wall. Actually, it hit two of them.
See, in today's job market, it's not just about impressing a person anymore. Before any human ever lays eyes on your resume, you first have to get past a piece of software. It's a two-stage battle, and we're going to crack the code for both. First up, the robot.
This is your first hurdle, and it's a big one. It's not a person, it's not a recruiter, it's an algorithm. And if you don't build your resume specifically with this bot in mind, you are, for all intents and purposes, completely invisible. This software is called an applicant tracking system, or ATS for short. Just think of it like a bouncer at a club. It scans your resume, tries to chop it up into understandable pieces, and then scores it against the job you applied for. And get this, over 95% of Fortune 500 companies use one. So yeah, you absolutely cannot afford to ignore this.
And this quote from Resume Adapter just says it all, doesn't it? You could be the most qualified person on the planet for this job, but if the ATS can't properly read or parse your resume, none of your skills or experience matter. You're just gone, filtered out before the game even starts.
So this right here is the heart of the problem. On the left, you see the beautiful, well-designed resume you created. But on the right, that's what the robot sees. It strips away all the fancy formatting and just looks at the raw text. And if your design is too complex, that raw text can turn into a completely jumbled, unreadable mess.
So, you're probably wondering, how can I know if my resume is a mess for the robot? Well, there's a super simple way to check. I want you to try this later. It's called the Notepad test. Just open your resume, select all the text, copy it, and paste it into a totally basic program like Notepad. What you see there? That is exactly what the ATS sees. If it's a garbled mess, you've got a big problem. Okay, so now we know what the problem is. The question is, how do we fix it? How do we build a resume that is just mechanically perfect for this robot?
Let's start with what to avoid. These are the biggest resume killers. That slick two-column template you found online, the robot reads left to right straight across, so it'll mash those two columns together into nonsense. Same goes for tables, text boxes, little icons for your phone number, even creative section headers like My Journey. The robot isn't impressed, it's just confused.
So the solution is all about simplification. You want a clean, single-column layout? That's it. Use boring, standard fonts like Arial or Calibri. For bullet points, just use a simple hyphen or an asterisk. And please, for the love of all that is holy, use standard headers like professional experience and education. Your goal is to be as predictable as possible for the machine.
The age-old question. This is probably one of the biggest debates in the resume world. Should you submit a PDF or a Word document? Everyone has an opinion, but the data actually gives us a pretty clear direction. Look, PDFs are great because they lock everything in place. It's going to look exactly how you designed it, no matter who opens it. But, and this is a big but, if it's based on a really complex template, the ATS can still fail to pull the text out correctly. A Word doc, a .docx file, is almost always the safest choice for the robot. It just parses more reliably. So here's the bottom line. Unless the application specifically asks for a PDF, a .docx is your safest bet. All right, you did it. You crafted a mechanically perfect resume, it sailed past the robot, and it has landed in a recruiter's inbox. Congratulations. But now you're facing an even tougher, faster, and way more judgmental gatekeeper, the human.
6 seconds. That's it. A famous study by the Ladders used eye-tracking technology to see what recruiters actually do, and they found that on average, they spend just 6 seconds on the initial look to decide if you're a fit or a no. You have 6 seconds to make your case.
And this heat map is incredible. It shows you exactly where those 6 seconds go. The red and yellow spots are where their eyes landed the most. They are not reading your beautiful prose. They are scanning. They're looking for very specific pieces of information in a predictable pattern.
So what are they scanning for? These 6 things: your name, your current job title and company, your last job title and company, the start and end dates for those jobs, and your education. That is it. Everything else on the page is basically invisible until you pass that first 6-second test, so this info has to be crystal clear and super easy to find.
Okay, so if we know they're just scanning for a few seconds, how do we build a resume that not only passes that test, but actually makes them stop and want to read more?
You do it with impact, especially in your bullet points. And the best way to do that is with Google's famous XYZ formula. Don't just list your duties. Instead, you say what you accomplished, X, as measured by Y, by doing Z. So instead of wrote social media posts, you'd say increase social engagement, X, by 20%, Y, by launching a new content series, Z. It's specific, it's measurable, and it's way more impressive.
And finally, and this is non-negotiable, you have to tailor your resume for every single job. I'm serious. Tweak your summary at the top to speak directly to that company's needs. Make sure your skills section uses the same keywords as their job description, and most importantly, move your most relevant experience right to the top, so it's the first thing that recruiter sees in their 6-second scan.
So let's put this all together. The goal isn't to have one resume for the robots and another one for the humans. The goal is to have one single, brilliant document that's designed to win over both.
This right here is the key takeaway for this whole thing. A winning resume is, first, mechanically perfect. It's simple, clean, and easily understood by the ATS. And second, it's visually scannable. It's so well organized that a human can find all that key info in just a few seconds. It has to do both jobs at once.
So the next time you go to update your resume, I want you to ask yourself this one simple question. Are you designing it based on what you think looks cool and creative, or are you strategically building a document that's designed to get past both the robot and the human gatekeeper? Because honestly, knowing the difference is what gets you the interview.